Welcome to part 2 of SAP RAP transactional app development using unmanaged scenario. So in today's session, we will continue with our theory part on and understand how about the save sequence runtime, understand what are the sequences of the methods that are called when the user clicks on save and the save sequence is being triggered. And finally, we will start by our hands-on by creating some of the basic artifacts uh, and uh, start the development process. Moving on, first let us understand what happens when a user clicks save button on the screen. Okay, as soon as the user presses the save button, a save sequence will be triggered, which is generally implemented in a local saver class. So far, we have actually seen local handler class and very little of the saver class. But in this series, we majorly work on the saver class as well. So what happens is when the now there are two things you can invoke using the EML entity, or you can invoke using the OData sequence, which is nothing but from the Fury. Now, first thing that method will be triggered is the finalize method, and this will actually allow us to do some of the modifications to our buffer data, the transactional buffer, before we actually commit the changes to the database. Now, as soon as this finalize method is done, what happens what we do here is we do the changes for our final thing. Say for example, if the age what we have been looking into, if that we have to modify, we have used a determination uh, in our manage scenario, but here we will have to do it ourselves because framework will not do anything for us. It will just give us a framework, and in the purview of that framework, we will have to understand. We will have to go and code the uh, everything there. Okay. Now, as you can see, if we have defined a determination in the manage scenario by itself, what it does is it will actually call determination on save operation. Okay. Uh, when a manage PO is done, it will just when whatever call whatever determination that we have created, it will call the determination method, but that is not part of the unmanaged BO. The everything we have to write for the determination in our finalize method. Okay, remember this point, there is no determination that will be called. You have to write the code in finalize method. Let's see now what happens after our finalize method. Then once the determination is done, the next step is validation. And validation, as you can see here, the in the manage one, this light green color is the manage and orange is the unmanaged one. Okay. Now what happens is it will implicitly call the check before save during the manage scenario, but during the unmanaged, it will call the check before save method, which is just a redefinition redefined, no method code is been added. Okay, so we have to call it, and in this same check before save all our validation should be done. So validation is also part of the code that we have to write now. Finalize is equivalent to determination, check before save is equivalent to validation. Remember this point. Now once the validation is done, and if you are finding any error, then it will go to this fail state and it will go back to the front end, display the errors to the end user, which he will correct, and again hit the save button and the same sequence will continue. Remember, once you are out of this validation method without any error, this is a point of no return. So after that, it will hit the database and it will save the data. No further validations can be done. Okay, remember that point. So let me reiterate: finalize, then check before save. Finalize is equivalent to determination, check before save is equivalent to validation. Now let us see after that what happens. Now after that, if we have maintained a late numbering, okay, if we have maintained a late numbering, then what will happen? It will actually go and call this adjust numbers. Now this is the method wherein we have to go and give the or fill in the key fields, guys. By then there will be a CID that we have already seen in our managed scenario as well. CID will be given by the framework, using which so far everything is actually managed using the framework. When you come to adjust numbering before save, we have to actually go and key in or fill in all the key fields. This is only applicable, as we have seen in our last video, in late numbering system. For early numbering will be triggered as soon as the create button is clicked, and we have to fill in all the key fields there itself. Adjust numbering numbers is the method that will be called when we have a late numbering system. And we in this session we will actually work on late numbering, because early numbering we have already seen as part of our managed scenario. So I will actually walk you through adjust number or the late numbering concept in this uh, series as well, so that you will come to know both the numbering systems. Now, after the adjust numbering is done, what happens is it will in the managed scenario it will call the save. Similarly, in the unmanaged scenario also it will call the save method. You see? So now you are able to understand the sequence: finalize, equivalent to determination; check before save, equivalent to validation; late numbering if you have applied, then adjust number will be there where you will have to fill in all your key values. Then finally we have to say save. Okay. Now once the save is clicked, okay, you see there is a save modified also, and this is nothing but when we have actually added a additional save. And there is one video on additional managed scenario with additional save, uh, I'll, that you can watch, which will actually call the save modified. And that is where we have already seen that, okay, if you want to do something else, application log or something, that you can do here. How the framework calls? This is the place where the framework calls the save modified. Okay, in managed scenario. But in unmanaged scenario, there is only one method for us, guys, which is save. Once the save is done, everything is working fine. The commit will be triggered by the framework, and the cleanup will be done by by the framework. Now, unmanaged scenario, a method called cleanup will be called. A method cleanup will be called. And this is where you will have to actually clear all your transactional buffer, pass the data back to the front end, and we are done. Okay, once this is done, that means after cleanup, save is okay. Okay, once this thing is properly done, cleanup will be called. But you see this one which we have actually seen coming from the first one where the validation has failed. So save will be failed and a cleanup finalize method will be called. That is why I have told you in my last session that actually there are six methods that are part of this save sequence, but always maximum of 5 will be called. Why? Because either cleanup will be called if everything is fine, or cleanup finalize will be called if there is an error during the validation process. And validation is nothing but check before save in unmanaged scenario. Hope this whole sequence is now completely understood by you. Okay, remember again, let me reiterate. We have first thing that is coming up is a finalize. Finalize method will allow us to do the changes to the transactional buffer, means any determination that you want to do, you do it in your finalize. Then check before save will be called, which is equivalent to validations. All the validations that you are doing will be done using the check before save. In the check before save, if there is any error, it will directly come to cleanup finalize and the save will be failed. The error will be shown to the front end. If the validation is fine, that means check before save is not returning any error, then save will be called. Sorry, adjust number will be called. If we have implemented the late numbering, then save will be called. Once save will be called, if the save is successful, ideally it will be because we are directly hitting the database table. There is no point of return here. Whatever data you are passing to the database, it will be uh, gone and added to the database and the cleanup will be done. Okay. So I hope you people have grasped the whole concept of the sequence of the method that gets executed during the save sequence process. Now, what we are going to do, okay, as part of this unmanaged scenario, again, what I will be doing is I will be using the same uh, contact application. We will try to convert it to unmanaged scenario. See what are the things that we can do, what are the things that will have challenges. Okay, so we will be using the same thing, same database table for contact and contact uh, addresses. Attachment we are not going to waste because again it's a lot of code because everything we have to code, guys. So what I will do is I will again the same way I will start with the contact first. Let us go and create all the CRUD operations, all the validations, all the determinations for contact first, and then as a composition tree we will add maybe attachment or address, one of the two. Okay, as part of our process in this scenario. Why I want to do it is because then majorly most of the time if you are getting some other entities to be added later stage, you know how to add. Because initially when you create your behavior definition, it will be actually generated by the system itself. So you know, okay, I've already code is generated, but when you add something, then all those methods and everything, you should know which method you have to implement, why you have to implement and stuff like that. So all these things you will have to go and do it by yourself. Okay. And how we are going to do it? Okay. Now, during the whole process, I just wanted to show you this as well because the behavior definition now will be having an unmanaged implementation. You see, guys, previously we have the managed implementation and now it will be unmanaged implementation. Okay. And you see determination, okay, here with draft and everything here which I have shown. I will not start with draft. I will start with a normal one so that we will understand what are the challenges that we will be getting. With that, let us now get into the system and see how we can go about doing this. Okay, so let me now go to our clip. Okay, and let me show you what I have done so far. Nothing, guys, just one package which has nothing in it, completely blank package. Okay, that I have created that, and this is the package that we will be using to uh, to save all our artifacts in that we will be creating for the unmanaged scenario. Okay, so let us now first see those people who have actually joined me in this tutorial, uh, and they have not gone and seen my earlier managed scenario. We will be using this particular table that we had created in our managed scenario. Okay, in our managed scenario. So what we have there is a, a mandate, then a key field is contact ID, which is a GUID ID of 16 characters, first name, middle name, last name, gender, DOB, age, telephone, and email, and active inactive flag, and uh, few of the tables, the admin fields created at, changed by, and changed at. Okay, and we will be starting with our unmanaged scenario with this table first. Okay, again, same thing. I want to actually show you the same thing because since we have already gone through those table, we know how it works, what are the functionality that we have implemented there. Uh, and if I am taking the same thing, then it is very easy for me to show you what are the challenges if you go with without draft or with draft, and all those stuffs I will be actually walking through. This is going to be a very interesting series, guys. Uh, Much awaited. Most of the people have asked me to do it. So here I am with this. I'll try my best to make you people understand what best we can actually try to do. Okay. Now, first thing first, what we do after we have a database table, we create a interface entity first. Okay. And that is what we will be starting uh, our session with. Okay. So first thing is we will be creating an interface definition for our contact entity. Okay. How we are going to create it is, let me show you that. So far you might be knowing already. Right click, new, other above repository object. Here you say data definition, next, and we have ZMAKS, I, contact, and this time it will be U, unmanaged, interface entity. Okay, interface for contact, unmanaged. O- And our reference object is ZMAKS, contact. We will be using the same contact M. Okay, is the database, the naming convention that was not correct. Okay, next, select the transaction. Next, and you say view entity, define view entity, and finish. So now it will generate a template for us. Okay, as usual, you know, a template will be generated, which will have a contact. Oh, sorry. Let me press Shift F1, not F1. Shift F1. What's happening? Okay. Shift F1. Activate this. Okay. So what we have done now, we have created our first artifact, which is nothing but our interface for contact. And this is GMAKS I contact you. Okay. Now, the second thing that we're going to create is the for that particular contact, we will create a projection view also. Okay. Now, what I want to do before I go and create a projection view is that we already have a gender here, you see, and in our last thing, the gender was again coming from a value help, and that value help we had already defined in our manage scenario. We can use the same value help interface here. How we do it is association. It can have uh, 1 to star to, I think it was GMAKS I underscore gender value help, I believe. Let me quickly check. Yes, gender value help, right? And now what we do there is on dollar projection dot gender is equal to, okay, now first thing we have to give this as gender as an association, and percentage gender dot our field was gender code. Okay. And finally, we will have to expose this association. That's it. Okay. So this one is done now, guys. Okay. We have created our interface entity. Okay. Now with this, using this interface entity, let me quickly activate this. Control F3. Now the second thing that we are going to create is our projection entity out of this whole thing. Okay. How we go and do a projection entity? Again, same, right click on this thing, say define metadata, sorry, define new definition. Okay, let me show you that as well. Let us create that new data definition, ZMAKS, CE, contact you. This is projection entity for contact unmanaged. Reference is the MAKS. I contact you. I contact you. Next, this time, okay, uh, select the TR. This time we will not go with root view entity, but we will go with projection here. Define projection view. And we say finish. So what it will create? It will create a projection view out of the out of the interface. Okay. And you see what it has done? It has actually taken everything. Shift F1 to Shift F1 to just do. And as soon as you define the projection, you have to say transact provider contract as transactional query. That is the first thing that you have to do. And the second thing, since the gender is having an association, right? You define the association here. How we define? Object model dot association dot object model dot text dot association dot, because it is a text association and our association is gender. So now what will happen is this gender field is actually linked to the association gender, which is nothing but the association created there. And now let us make this as root. That is what it is showing here. Root keyword is not valid. Of course, it is not, because here also we should have root. This is all basic things that we have already seen, guys. Okay. Now, okay, let me now come and add one more thing, which is nothing but our metadata allow extension true, because the next thing that we are going to create will be the metadata extension for this particular uh, entity, which is nothing but a projection entity. How we again go and do it is, okay, new metadata extension, right click on it and you say new metadata extension. Again, right click, new metadata extension, GMAKS, ME, instead of contact M, it will be contact you. Metadata extension for it, for ME for contact unmanaged. And this is extending the contact projection view. Select the TR, say finish, and there will be only one annotate view that we have got and created. So this will create a metadata extension for me. This the next one. Here what we have to do, we have to actually go and select the core or partner, and it will work here. Okay, I'll say partner, and let me quickly go and actually create this metadata extension. It will be same as what we have there in our manage scenario with slight changes here and there, pretty much same. So let me just do that and get back to you guys. Let us see the metadata extension. Okay, again same UI header info to display the heading for our table in the main screen, title and description in our detail screen or the object form. I'm displaying first name and last name as usual. One facet to display the object reference, the object page, which is nothing but an identification reference. Search.searchable true, which will have certain search field, global search field that I'm using for first name, middle name, last name. Okay. And identification as usual, everything that I need to show there on the object page will be part of my at the rate UI.identification annotation. Okay. Consumption.value help, I am just giving for my gender, wherein the value help will be uh, triggered using this particular value help. Gender code is the linkage, and then pretty much everything for identification and line item. Okay, so this is exactly pretty much same what we already have seen in our earlier videos. Okay, if you want to know more about the um, annotations on all, you can actually watch my first series on creating a read-only application. I think video number 4 or 6, where you can go and see the different types of uh, annotations that we can use, which are commonly used. There are many things there, but commonly used I have shown there. Okay, so now we have actually already created our thing. Okay, so with this thing, we are done with our basic artifacts, guys. Okay, Now, I would like to stop here because it is getting a bit, uh, the video is getting longer. So we will actually continue with our video uh, in the upcoming video. Okay, we will see how we can actually take this further step by step. Hope whatever we have done so far, you are able to do it. It takes so much time and effort, guys, to actually create this thing. Please hit the like button there, subscribe to my channel. The more you hit the like button, it will be shown to others as well. So please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and happy learning.